Chief Justice Mogoeng Mogoeng's religious freedom is being trampled on. That's the opinion from the African Christian Democratic Party's Reverend Kenneth Meshoe. The party has been protesting today outside the Constitutional Court in support of Mogoeng. The Chief Justice is appealing a ruling after the Judicial Conduct Committee ordered that he apologize for comments that he made last year about Israel. Various advocacy groups have laid complaints on the issue and called for Mogoeng's. They've in fact criticized the Chief Justice, and this has been the finding as well from the JCC, that he waded into a political controversy. ACDP leader Kenneth Meshoe joins us now by Skype to talk more about the party's position. Reverend, a very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us. So, why have you, as the ACDP, felt compelled to demonstrate in support of the Chief Justice today?
Well, thank you very much for having me on your show this afternoon. We do not agree that the Chief Justice meddled in politics. We do not believe that reading or quoting Psalm 122 that says, "Pray for the peace of Jerusalem," is a political statement. To us, it is a biblical statement and not a political statement, because we have never heard anybody in government say, "Never pray for the peace of Jerusalem."
But one could argue, Reverend, that the Chief Justice's comments were much broader than just a call to pray for Israel, because he did speak at length about that issue, but I'll get to that in a moment. Firstly, though, when you say, because the at issue here is the fact that the JCC says he's basically breached the code of conduct for the judiciary, what legal advice, opinion are you going on to make the determination that he hasn't?
I had a look personally at the Judicial Code of Conduct, and in its introduction they say the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Now, if the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, every judicial code of conduct or any other code of conduct must be in line with what the Constitution is declaring to South Africans as their rights. Now, when I look at the Constitution, particularly Section 15, it speaks about everyone being given the right to freedom of religion, conscience, belief, opinion, and so on. So if it says everyone, I believe everyone also includes judges and magistrates and every human being in South Africa, as long as they're citizens of the country. So for as long as a person does not violate the Constitution, anybody who comes and say, but the code of conduct does not agree with what the Constitution says, then we're in trouble.
Let me ask you this, Reverend Meshoe, because we are unfortunately pressed against the clock. You say that, yes, everyone in South Africa has a right to speech, freedom of speech, right? Yes. But the reality is that as Chief Justice, Mogoeng Mogoeng's right to freedom of speech comes with a greater responsibility precisely because of the office that he holds. Do you at least acknowledge that?
I acknowledge, when you talk about greater responsibility, I agree 100% with you. But where I don't agree with you is that it is not responsible to make a biblical statement. That I cannot agree with that, because everyone's right to religious beliefs and opinion is guaranteed in the Constitution. And if it was stated clearly in the Constitution that except for judges, or it was clearly stated in the Judicial Code of Conduct that one should not exercise their freedom of speech as it is stated in the Constitution, I would say you are saying something I can agree with. But I looked at the Judicial Code of Conduct. There's nowhere where it says that a judicial leader or a justice or a chief justice cannot make a pronouncement on their Christian beliefs. So praying for the Israel, and to also say, I love Israel, I love the Jews, I love Palestinians, I love everyone. I think that's a statement that should be applauded rather than be condemned.
Let me ask you this, Reverend. Would you support another member of the judiciary if they had made comments that were not in line with Christianity or Christian ethos, which is what your party is based on?
I want to know which religion does not agree with loving everybody.
No, Reverend Meshoe, you're not answering my question. I'm asking you the question. Would you defend him if these weren't Christian comments, so to speak?
As long as it's about peace, about love, I would agree.
So there have been other issues that have been going on in this country. And the criticism on this issue has been that again, on the issue of the Chief Justice venturing into politics, right? You as the ACDP are a political party, so your involvement could be argued further politicizes an issue. Why not just sit back and let the Chief Justice and the JCC resolve this among themselves?
Do you know, when a person is told that you have made a political statement, when I believe it is a biblical statement, and a person is told you are guilty for saying love everyone, then I have a problem with it. I have to speak out. If, for example, in South Africa, one can say the Zulus or the Tongas or the Ndebeles are wrong as a group, I would never agree with that. I would speak out. So I'm speaking out because I believe nobody's right to peace, nobody's right to proclaim their religious opinions that promotes peace and love should be stopped. Everybody should speak about peace because South Africa needs peace. We need more loving people because we have many people who kill others, who murder because of hatred. We need to do away with hatred. Let's promote peace. Let's promote love among South Africans. And that's what the Chief Justice was talking about. That's why I agree with him.
It's one thing to have that opinion, then, Chief Justice, I beg your pardon, Reverend Meshoe, but the issue here at the moment is that you say you've read the Code of Conduct for the judiciary, so you would suggest that you have a better understanding, better interpretation of a legal document and regulations than the Judicial Conduct Committee.
A ruling was made by the Constitutional Court, and that ruling concerned a member of a student, actually a young Hindu student, who was not allowed to go to school with a no start. Okay, because they were saying it's not in line with the Code of Conduct. The school was refusing. They went to court and they lost the case in the High Court that agreed with the school. They went to the Constitutional Court. And the Constitutional Court pronounced itself by saying no Code of Conduct can trump the constitutional rights. So the Constitutional Court now is going to face the very thing that they threw at people, that no Code of Conduct should undermine the Constitution. So that's why I'm saying, based on what I've seen the Constitutional Court do, that if they can say a code of conduct must be in line with the Constitution, it has to apply even in this case.
All right, ACDP leader, Reverend Kenneth Meshoe, good to speak to you. Thank you, sir.